Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of the Monsters Den here on Thursday night on Sea of Tranquility. We've got in the co-captain's chair once again, Mr. Chris Allo, Mr. Rich Catino. Greetings, gentlemen. How are things?
Hello, guys.
Good. Good to see you guys.
Same here.
On this stormy night we got going on, right?
Yeah, right. A little rain coming out. We needed some thunder and a little lightning, and that would be just perfect for this because
I already heard some thunder in the background.
You did. All right. So just so everybody knows, we record these in the evening, so it's a perfect setting. This is not a 9 a.m. thing or middle of the afternoon. These are evening shoots, and if the weather cooperates, if we get a little kind of atmosphere in the background, all the better. So a couple thunderclaps, I'm all for that. So today we're going to revisit a popular theme here on the Monsters Den because we can never do enough animals attack films, right? There's no shortage of them. We've all watched a few fairly recently that we're here to talk to you about. So I'm going to have Mr. Allo kick us off with his first animal attack recommendation of the day.
Sure. Well, like you said, Pete, definitely can't get enough of these. I could easily do a part 4 or 5 when I was just going through my own collection of animals attack movies. I was like, Jesus, I kind of forgot how many of these I actually had. And I love them. To me, it's, next to zombies, this is probably my favorite horror subgenre. And this one's a classic. I hadn't seen it in a while. I had the DVD, but I just got the Blu-ray, and there are multiple versions of this on Blu-ray. I don't know which one is which is the definitive. But in fact, this one I got, I think it's like 2 years old. There's another brand new one coming out, but either way, it's still a great, fun, crappy movie, and it's Grizzly from.
I've not seen that.
I don't think anybody did this one before, did we?
No, I'm waiting for my copy. Okay. I ordered it, but of course I ordered 2 things that are like haven't been released yet, so I think that's Synapse, right?
Yeah. Well, this one is Scorpion releasing.
Oh, I can't remember which one I ordered. Anyway, whoever I ordered it from.
But there is another brand new one that just came out.
Yeah, I'd have to go look in my. I think is it Synapse or is it
Severin?
No, maybe Severin. Yeah.
This one is Scorpion, and this one gets real confusing because I saw this in the store. And then I saw this one in the store, not realizing, because it's a reversible cover, but they released them in both versions. So, I'll talk about more in the next thing, how I feel that all these movie companies just keep with the original covers. But it's a fun movie. But when I rewatched it the other day with the Blu-ray, I could not believe how much of a Jaws ripoff this is.
I was just looking it up, and it says it's a Jaws ripoff. Actually,
Rich, it is unbelievable. Like I always said,
with the camera angles from below, or like
everything,
something really
everything. Like I always said, Great White was the biggest Jaws ripoff ever. And it was pulled from theaters, but to me, this one's more blatant. We've got 3 main characters played by 3 great character actors. Richard Jekyll plays the Hooper character. He's the scientist who lives in the woods with the animals. Andrew Prine is he's the Quint character, but instead of being the captain of the boat, he's captain of the helicopter. And Christopher George, he's the local sheriff, and they're hunting together. They're hunting the grizzly instead of it being a shark. But it is just by the numbers. There's instead of the swimmer in the beginning that gets naked and gets eaten, there's a hot forest ranger who just decides to get naked and then go under a waterfall, and the grizzly just comes out of nowhere and eats her. Instead of Alex Kintner being attacked by Jaws and him rolling in the death roll, the giant grizzly comes out and mauls a little boy. There's even a knockoff on the Indianapolis speech, given, of course, by
theaters, or was it for TV?
This was in theaters. In fact, This was such a hit in 1976 this was the most successful independent film of all time until 1978 when Halloween broke its record. But it's, I mean, the Grizzly looks pretty good because most of the time they used a real grizzly, and then they did for close-ups they had a guy in a suit. It is so gory for a PG movie. I can't believe it got PG, just like Jaws, but I think this is bloodier, and I think this is more horrific. I mean, at one point he mauls a little kid, and the kid drops to the ground. You can see blood all over the kid's face, and the kid's leg is eaten off. And I'm like, this is PG.
And Jaws was, like you said, Jaws was PG, and Jaws was pretty gory too.
Jaws is pretty gory and pretty horrific.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun. I mean, it's a great bad movie. You could definitely do worse than getting Grizzly on Blu-ray. And like I said, there's tons of different versions. I don't know which one's which. Pete probably got the newest one. I got this one used, and it was cheap, so I was like, screw it. But it looks good. It looks good. I can't complain. And now they just released the unfinished Grizzly 2. Which I've had on bootleg for years, and that one has I think George Clooney and Laura Dern and a couple big name actors, and that was never finished, and I'm sure it's terrible, but now that's been finished and that's on Blu-ray. But that's another story. But this one is really a classic.
Yeah, I can't wait to get mine. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I placed it directly with Severin, and because with some of these companies, if you order multiple films with them, they'll charge you right off the bat, and they won't ship until everything comes in stock. And I think one of the Blu-rays I ordered was not releasing till July. So even though that was ready at the end of April,
so they're gonna hold it.
I gotta wait now. So I gotta wait 3 months to get the 3 that I ordered.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a wait. Well, whenever you get it, it's definitely worth it. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think Neil Adams from Batman and DC Comics fame and Green Lantern, Green Arrow, I think he did the poster art. I could be wrong.
It looks like him.
But I thought he did.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Rich.
But yeah, it's a hoot.
All right, I'm going with a modern one. I don't think we talked about this ever before. Bait. Sure.
Nope.
No.
I don't think we brought this one up. It's from 2012. It's an Australian production, actually. So it's all Australian actors. So I don't know if you guys have heard any of these people. The one person I did see in another movie, one of the leads, it's hold on, I gotta look up the name now. The one girl was in I'm sorry. I can't think of You're Next. Did you guys ever see You're Next? That slasher movie?
I've heard
of it.
It was
a more modern slasher movie.
I heard of it.
I think one of
Is this the one in the supermarket, Rich?
Yes, the one where a tsunami hits.
Yes, I have that. I'm pretty sure on Blu-ray.
It floods the supermarket.
It's fun from what I remember.
It's really good. I watched it again. I'm just trying to see if I could find her name here because she's in the cast here. Oh, I'm sorry.
So they're in the supermarket. I'm assuming the shark is like swimming around in the supermarket. Everybody's up on top of the aisles and shit, right?
On top of the shelves, yeah.
Yes, yeah, but it's not like you think, because it went to theaters there. I'm just reading about it, but it didn't come to theaters here. It just went to DVD. I'm pretty sure, unless in theaters I missed it. I don't know, but it says on the box, it doesn't say it, but it says it was in 3D. So when I think of it now, when I'm thinking of watching it. There's like a leg that floats close to the screen. You know, there's a few things like that. Explosions come at the camera. You know, there's moments like that. But I don't, how well.
I was going to say, I think I have the Blu-ray, and I think it's in 3D.
And it's got the glasses too.
Well, no, because the glasses, you use your glasses that come with the system.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's like really good 3D as opposed to, shitty 3D where you'd use the paper glasses.
Right. Okay. So it's pretty cool. I thought it was pretty good. It's not Jaws. That's the mother of the mothership of them all. That's the king. But when it comes to a great white shark attacking people, I think it looks great. The CG shark looks good. It's not like, I'm just going to show this for comparison. It's not like those sci-fi made for TV type of movies like Shark Island and these other ones. Does not look like that. Much more, thought and time and money was put into the budget for this to make it look realistic. And I think the lighting helps, the way they light it. A lot of underwater shots. It's swimming under the water because it's in the supermarket. So it's, it's half submerged throughout the movie. Then it gets
Right.
more and more submerged. And it's harder for them to get away from the shark.
And I think there was parts I thought where they used, which to me makes all the difference in the world, a rubber shark in this, as opposed to all CGI.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of it, but it's mostly CGI.
Okay, then it was really good CGI.
Yeah, it works pretty well. There's a couple of really good kills, a couple of surprise ones that you don't see it coming. Special effects are pretty good. There's a half body one where a guy gets bit in half, and it probably is CGI, and you can't really tell. It's really, I think it's really done pretty well. So I enjoyed it. I recommend
Not
it.
to think about how many shark attack films they've made over the years.
Right.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And when you think of them, you're thinking of a lot of these bad ones from this.
Yeah.
Sharknado
But
and all
this
that
is
stuff.
definitely
Which and they did all those because they did Sharktopus, and that was a huge hit.
right.
They did Sharktopus was the first one, and then Sharknado. Both of those were hits.
Right. Yeah, this is not like that. This is a lot more upscale,
Right.
darker. It doesn't feel like it's being funny about it,
Right.
There's one character, he's kind of the comic relief of it. He's trying to be sarcastic and a jerk, but you take him out and the rest of it's pretty straightforward, playing it as a real type of a drama, I think. So
I wish I could remember more of it. I think I got it as a gift. I watched it once in 3D, and I what Pete said. I remember them climbing on the shelves so they wouldn't get eaten.
Yeah,
and I remember liking it. I remember, wasn't there a part where they're like stuck in an underground parking lot and that gets flooded and the sharks in the swimming around the cars?
Part of the people are stuck in the parking lot. The other people are stuck inside of the store.
Right. Which I thought was cool because it was different than all the other ones where they're, somebody's stuck in the ocean somewhere.
Right, right. And then of course there's, I'm not going to give you the twist to it. Not the twist, but the surprise, but I'll say it's a great white shark. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Yep.
It's a horror movie. So
right. Yeah.
Just when you think it's over, it's not quite over yet, that kind of thing, good. I recommend it. Cool. It's in my collection. So I'm glad I still have it there. So one of the newer ones from 2012.
Nice.
So I've never seen Sharktopus. Is that like a shark versus an octopus, or is that like some mutant shark octopus?
No, it's a mutant shark that has octopus legs on it. And
yeah, it's actually a killer. It's a killer design. It really looks cool.
Oh, yes.
That's it.
Yep.
It's a cool design. It's a Roger Corman movie.
Yeah, I was going to say it's from. I remember when I met Roger Corman, they had just come out with the Sharktopus stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Like a plush shark.
Unfortunately,
legs.
Unfortunately, it's got that that made for TV humor. This avoids that. So that's the difference between the sci-fi made for movies and something like this.
Do you guys ever see the one with came out a few years ago, where is this group of people, they go out on like an excursion boat and they go diving, and then the boat winds up like taking off and leaving two of them in the water?
Yes, but that's based on a true story.
Right.
That was that Deep Water?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. There was another part, I think.
Yes.
Then there was the other one that's got the Blake Lively in it, right? Which is also
that's like 47 meters down.
Something like that, yeah.
I think. Or no, you're right. Blake Lively, that's the one. They're on the island with all the jagged kind of coral.
Yes.
I don't think that's 47 meters down. That's
I'm looking them up.
that's something else.
Yeah.
47 meters down was another one.
That was one that went to theaters.
Yeah, the Blake Lively one. I think I saw that. I saw that at the drive-in.
That's crazy.
But there's a lot.
The other one was like freaking crazy, where they're out there on their own.
Is it called The Reef?
The Reef. That's Blake Lively. Yep, that one I saw in the theater. 47 meters down.
In the Deep. There's In the Deep, which I never saw. The Shallows. That's another one.
Yes, that's another one.
Shallows. That's another one.
The one that I saw that I never saw, I always wanted to, was it's a bunch of people hanging around. I'm sure it's a comedy. Bunch of people hanging around the swimming pool, but there's sharks in the swimming pool.
Like,
I think is it called Shark Night?
I'm just looking at that right now. I don't know if it's that one,
I thought that's
but
what it might be called.
that was PG-13. That actually went to theaters.
Yeah, I thought that one was in theaters, but
And then the other one was 47 meters down. That's the other one.
yes, and I think there's
Yep.
a couple of those. I think.
And there's another one that we totally forgot about, which is a newer one, and it was huge. The
Deep
Meg.
Blue Sea?
The
Which one?
Meg.
Oh, the Meg.
The
Yeah,
Meg.
the Meg.
Oh, I
The
hated
Meg.
that movie.
I didn't see
I
it.
hated it too. It had so much potential, but yeah, that's another one.
Well, that's one of the few ones I read the book, and the book was pretty good. And then they
Yeah.
kind of made it into like sort of a comedy.
Action, an action movie.
Yeah,
So many of them.
a lot of shark movies though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, before I get into my first pick today, I do want to do a quick little plug for a book that was sent to me. And I promised Ron George is the author. I promised him I would show it on the air and talk a little bit about it. So he's a new horror author. His brand new book is called Elizabeth Franklin, A Witch's Tale. Okay, so this is meant to be the first book in a eventual series. So, without giving too much away of the book, whatever, it's about this young witch who many, many years ago gets into a little trouble with the head witches because she's done some things that they don't approve of. She gets kind of like sent to hell, right? And there she's going to be trapped for all eternity. But then we come to the modern age and a bunch of kids wind up going into a haunted house, which actually is the house that Elizabeth was from, and they've got this new video game, which is like a virtual reality video game. They wind up playing this game. Somehow the game channels some sort of dimension into the netherworlds, and Miss Elizabeth Franklin has found a way to come into the modern world via this virtual reality game. Kills everybody except for one. That starts up this whole tale of how now Elizabeth sort of walks in the modern world here. She's still a witch, but starts off this whole chain of events that brings in other characters. It's mostly female characters. So if you like reading stories about witches and mostly women, if you like video games, it has a lot to do with the story here as well. But it eventually sets up what looks like it's going to be a series of books that probably are not far from The Craft or Charmed, that sort of thing. So if that's kind of what you like reading, right? You like witch tales and whatnot that brings from the past into the future, check it out. Elizabeth Franklin, A Witch's Tale by Ron George. And I'm trying to think of where you can get information. Hold on how to purchase this. Bear with me. If I can't find it, I'll put it in the video description below. Yeah, I don't see anything here. It's self-published. So Ron George, Elizabeth Franklin, A Witch's Tale. So just go take a look and find it. I'll try and get a link for everybody. But Ron, good luck with it. Back to the films. All right. So my first one today, this is kind of a classic. I had seen this back when I was a kid because this movie is from 1976. And, they played in the theaters and they showed it on TV a lot through the years, but I hadn't seen it in like a million years till I bought this Blu-ray. I'm going to cover up it's a 2-on-1 Blu-ray. So I'm going to cover up the other one because I'll talk about that in a minute. But Food of the Gods. All right.
So good.
Classic. Yeah. So, H.G. Wells, of course, starring, got Marjoe Gortner, who appeared everywhere back in the 70s, Bobby Joe and the Outlaw and all these other films. I mean, he was everywhere for a while. Belinda Belasco. What's that?
Yes, Ida Lupino, Linda Blas. I mean, it's an awesome cast.
Yeah, I mean, Pamela Franklin, Ralph Meeker, John Cipher, Ida Lupino. You mentioned Chuck Courtney, John McLean, all sorts of other people. Basically, the gist of this story is you got these folks who they come across. They've got this like milky serum substance or whatever that they are like giving to animals. To try and it's just kind of like a wacky thing because in their minds, they're like, well, if we can make the animals bigger, that'll be more food for everybody, right? More for people to eat. We won't have hunger and all this kind of stuff. But little do they know what they're doing is they're creating mutations. So all of a sudden you've got the mice are gigantic, the chickens are huge, the worms and all, basically whatever winds up drinking some of this stuff winds up growing exponentially, and before you know it, what are giant animals going to do? They're probably going to kill the humans. So here, then you have, some pretty cool special effects. It's kind of cheesy for the time, but you know what? I think that is the charm of the whole film. And then it's just all about trying to put a stop to these creatures and put a stop to getting this serum, whatever the hell you call it, into the hands of people who could do some real damage with it. So it's just a cool movie from its time. A lot of fun. Big, this is also a good example of almost like a rubber monster film, right? Because you got the giant chicken looks totally fake, but it's funny. The giant mice look great. I love the scene where Marjo Gortner is battling back and forth with this giant mouse, right? But just a fun, cool movie that I think, if I remember correctly, this is the one that started kind of like a whole slew of rat films and things like that, right? So just really cool. And of course, it's from an H.G. story.
Was Food of the Gods, was that before or after the Ben?
That's a good question. Actually, you know what? You were absolutely correct. Willard was actually first.
Right, well, that's right. Willard, I always mix those up.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that on TV a lot with Frogs. Frogs, was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Food of the Gods in the 70s, man, that was on TV a lot.
Yeah, they played those two a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really cool because, again, also kind of like themes that started with Planet of the Apes and stuff like that. It's just like, they throw the possibility out here that given the right opportunity, the roles could be reversed, right? And the animals could actually overtake the human race, given that right. And we've had a lot of films that kind of go that route too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this one's great because it's got a good like science fiction bent to it. Not big on gore and stuff like that, but I think pretty effective and pretty charming film. I think I dig it.
Just when those mice get shot, and I still don't know if they were shooting with paintballs or BB guns.
They were. No, I looked up, and if you could do it in slow mo, you can see the way it kind of explodes, and I think it just more knocks them off because of the momentum of the paintballs. But yeah, it's not penetrating anything. But yeah, there's some good scenes in here. When they're all in the water outside the house, it's just pretty neat.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
it's good.
And
they do have
there
a
is a sequel from the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Which I haven't seen
which is not on Blu-ray.
No, it's not. It's not. So, but yeah, Food of the Gods, definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it.
100%. That's if we had money, Pete, I'd say buy the right to that. Let's make a friggin' remake of Food of the Gods right now because that's,
Yeah, I mean, and you could do it pretty effectively with CGI, I'd say. But if you're someone who wants to do
CGI,
effects,
Yeah.
But it's if I remember correctly, the critics hated that film, right? It made a shitload of money.
Probably, yeah.
Critics didn't like it at all. But good stuff. All right, Chris, back to you.
All right, so this one was a total mistake. I didn't know what I was doing, but it worked out okay. I kept seeing, like I was saying earlier, right, with Grizzly, how there's, here's the movie poster that you've seen a million times, but then the video company decided to come up with this new artwork, right? With this new modern artwork. I mean, Shout Factory is probably the most famous for never using the old movie posters and always creating, new artwork.
But at least they include the original inside too.
Right, they do, which is cool.
You can reverse.
So I kept seeing this Blu-ray for this movie that I thought was from the 70s. And even though it has this stars, the names on it, and it talks about stuff in the back, I wasn't paying attention. So I bought it. And there's a movie from the 70s called The Pack, directed by Robert Klaus, directed two of the best bad movies of all time, Jim Cotta and Deadly Eyes, which I talked about on another Animals Attack episode, which is the little dogs in the rat suits. And of course, Robert Klaus directed Enter the Dragon. But that's what I thought I was buying here, because that movie is about killer dogs in the 70s. So how could there be another movie about killer dogs called The Pack? And yet, here it is. And it's okay.
I've seen that Blu-ray.
I've never heard of it, never seen it.
It's not terrible. It takes place, long story short, it takes place in Australia. And no offense to anybody in Australia, but how anybody would live in Australia is beyond me. Because I've seen The Road Warrior and I've seen Razorback, and I don't know how anybody could live there. But there's a bunch of dogs, like these big, heavy-duty dogs, that for some reason attack this family out in the outback in Australia. And it's pretty, it's pretty evenly paced. It's fast. It's like 80 something minutes. My biggest problem with the movie is that every time we get to these giant dogs, not giant, but they're big dogs, dingoes, I don't know, whatever the fuck you call them. It's never explained, and you know what? That's great, because I don't fucking need it. I don't need the 60-minute backstory of how these dogs got so big, because if it was made today in America, it'd be 2.5 hours, because they would need to over-explain everything. But it's a nice tight 80-something minutes. But my problem is every time the dogs attack people, the camera starts going like this. I'm like, I can't see a fucking thing.
Probably to cover up the bad effects, or
I'm sure that's what it is, Rich.
Cut corners a little bit,
The first couple times it was okay, but after a while I'm like, this is fucking annoying. But it's not a terrible movie. I mean, for the $8 I paid for the used Blu-ray, it's definitely worth it. I think it's streaming on some channel somewhere. This was from IFC Films, and yeah, it's not great, but it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I've seen that Blu-ray,
and it's from like 2013, I think. I mean, right away when I put the Blu-ray in and the menu pops up, and I looked at the audio options, and it said 5.1 DTS, and I go, oh yeah, and I click that, and I'm like, wait a second, who the hell would put the fucking movie from the 70s with Joe Don Baker in 5.1? And yeah, I was right.
Oops.
Yeah. But it wasn't a total waste. I watched it once. It was entertaining.
So a quick question for you guys. So, a lot of these companies who are putting out these Blu-rays, they give you like we talked about before, they give you the new artwork, and then they give you the original. And they usually send it when you buy it. It's usually with the new art on the outside, the option to turn it around. What do you think is the percentage of do you favor the new or the original? How often do you turn them around?
Me personally, I always turn them around. I prefer the original artwork when available, because to me, that's the thing that catches my eye. And my argument with this, like Rich was saying, well, they do give you both, which is true. But, if Iron Maiden right now re-released The Number of the Beast with awesome new artwork, I would still want the original artwork on the outside. I don't want the fucking new, I don't want your new thing, because I've been seeing this movie poster for 30 years or 50 years or whatever the fuck it is. So I want the original poster on the outside, because that's what's going to catch my eye. Not this.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree.
Not this new fancy artwork.
There's only been a couple of instances where I've actually preferred the new commission artwork because the original poster art is so bad, but that's very few.
Right.
I would say 95% of them, I turn them around and I put the original on there.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I might, one of these days I might go through and look and find those ones where I kept the new one on the outside because the original was so bad. But
same.
Yeah.
I don't think they always do that, though, do they?
Oh, they don't always have both. No. Because, it's more money to have them printed on two sides, and it's more money. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's more money to have the clear cover. So,
Screen Factory and Arrow seem to do it a lot, I find.
Yes,
you're
100% right.
Doing it a good amount on theirs. Synapse from time to time. Blue Underground generally don't, for the most part. They just give you the original, or they give you something.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on the
company. I almost wonder if distributors ask for that. Like, hey, we don't want to make it look like an old movie. If it looks like an old movie, Walmart's not going to carry it. Yeah. So give us new artwork so that we could get it in Walmart or Spencer Gifts or wherever the fuck.
Or it's a good bonus too, I guess. Aside from just getting the original artwork, you're paying for your Blu-ray, you might as well get a.
I was just going to say that the hardcore
art as well. So that's another incentive too.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, the hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if they have the both.
Want both. They want a slipcase,
Yeah.
and they're probably willing to pay a little bit more for the whole package if they get all those things, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, Shout Factory has been big on, the double-sided covers, and then the slipcase, and then you also get the poster.
Yeah. Yeah, if you buy it like, the initial run, right?
Yeah, if you pre-order, yep.
Yep. All right, Rich, back to you, I guess.
All right. So my second one I watched is another newer one, which I totally didn't see in the theater when it came out. I should have. And I totally forgot that it was a Sam Raimi production. One of the producers. Did you guys see Crawl from 2019?
No.
Now, is that the alligator one?
Yes.
Like an alligator in the basement. It looked really good. I
Yeah.
wanted to see it in theaters, Rich, but I just didn't make it. And
I passed on it too. I don't know why. And I watched it, and it's really good. Really and you'd think because it's Sam Raimi, it had that little bit of his humor in it. Zero. It's just a straight ahead, thriller. See, the alligators are CG. They look great. You can't even tell.
Wow.
Works really good. So
Nice.
It's about a girl and her father. She goes to find her father. Doesn't know where he is. He's not answering the phone. He's in the basement of the house. They live in Florida. So there's it's a hurricane, Category 5 hurricane in Florida. So all the water is all throughout the town. The special effects are really good. Clouds and everything, the thunder, the rain looks really, really good. Most of this was, I was looking up the information. It was shot, on sound stages, big pools and stuff. But it looks great. The atmosphere is great. When she goes to find her father, he's underneath the house. He got injured, so he was laying on the ground. He couldn't get up. So when she finds him, they're underneath in the basement. It's not the basement of the house. Well, it's kind of the basement of the house, but you can still see the outside of the house too, the way it's set up. It's interesting. And then there's a drain that goes out too, which unfortunately that's how one of the alligators gets in for the water. But when she's down there, it's so tight. And then when the water starts coming in more and more and starts rising, the threat, gets more and more, because then there's more than one alligator. Because at first you only see one, but obviously you're in Florida, there's a hurricane, there's water everywhere. So one alligator turns into like 10 alligators.
Wow.
Pretty cool. So
I'll have to see that one.
She tries to save her father. They're in the basement trying to get out, trying to get people to help them. But every time they see somebody on the outside trying to help themselves, the alligators come and they get them too.
I was going to say, sounds like Return of the Living Dead. Soon as somebody pulls up.
Yep, exactly. Just when you think they're out of the woods, another alligator comes. When they get a boat, she gets a boat. They start, getting on the water. They're ready to take off in the boat, or water comes. It's pretty cool. I was like, I'm impressed. I was like, this is
sold.
Aside from, alligator being the best. I think we agree that alligator is probably the best of these kind of movies. I think this is second, third, maybe fourth place strong contender.
Nice.
Yeah. Good atmosphere, good music. Special effects was really good. Really dark and, dingy in the basement of the house. Can't even tell it's CGI alligators. Looks good.
Rich is selling them, so I'm sold.
Yeah, because I'll show these again. These movies, they look the animals look very smooth. They don't have much texture to them. Right. These, they look like real alligators. So
cool.
Kind of like not as good as I'll say like classic, because those were real animatronics.
Right.
Those. So not as good as that, but they look damn good, I gotta say. So I'm gonna probably get it for the collection. I didn't have it, so it's gonna be in there with the curse.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
The curse is
good gore as well.
The curse is strong.
Yeah, good gore, good special effects, couple good kills. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's again another one of those where just when you think it's over, it's not over yet. Not until the credits run.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Space, speaking of alligators, I didn't pick it obviously because we've already discussed it. But after you guys talk so highly of alligators, and I had never seen it before, I went and tracked down an international copy on Blu-ray of that, and that's damn good. Alligator.
Oh yeah, it's a
Alligator.
Yeah, that's damn good.
Yeah, that's probably the king of all these. But this is, I'll tell
I
you,
like that a lot.
it's strong second, third place, I'd say. Because I mean, what else aside from, I guess, Lake Placid? Because those got silly. You remember? They got silly after the first one.
There's a lot of those.
There's like 4 of them.
Yeah, I haven't. Other than the original, I didn't see any of them. And isn't there also, which I've never seen? Isn't there like a Lake Placid versus Anaconda?
Yeah, there's one of those too. Yeah.
Now they're crossing franchises.
Yeah.
But if aside from alligator, what would you say would be the best alligator crocodile killer creature?
Isn't there like a crocodile film also? I mean, isn't there like
There's crocodile. There's killer.
I don't remember it,
killer crocodile. Eaten Alive is really good.
Yeah. We talked about that one before. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's a really
so
cool
you
one.
put that in the top 5 with alligator then?
I would put Eaten Alive up there.
Yeah, I'd put alligator at the top for sure.
Yeah. So I think this definitely, for a modern take on that, I think it fits really well.
No, I'm gonna have to see it.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got plenty of alligators. There's got to be a dozen.
Shudder. See if it's on Shudder, perhaps.
There was one in Australia that was like really good. Again, fucking Australia. Don't. But I can't.
Alligator movie or a crocodile movie?
I don't know if it was an alligator or a crocodile, but it was really good.
Crocs. It's Crocs down there, I think.
I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, if somebody knows, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. And there was one that Toby Hooper from Texas Chainsaw Massacre did one called, I think, Blood Surf. I think that was okay. And Toby Hooper did Eaten Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the Australian one, but yeah, those are fun ones.
Yeah, they don't make too many of them that often, but yeah, this is a good one if you're looking for them. I recommend it.
Cool.
Well, just in general with these alligator and
was it Primeval?
No, that one I remember. That one had the black guy from the 7-Eleven or 7-Up commercials.
That's from 2007.
That one was kind of a shitter.
Let's see, I'm looking them up. You guys go ahead. I'll see what I can find here.
Okay. Well, there's actually there's alligators in my next choice too, although they're not the main animal.
I know which one you're picking there, Pete.
Well, yeah, because it's the other half of the Blu-ray, right? So frogs.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, guys. Not to interrupt you, but Crocodile from 2000, is that the one you're thinking of?
Could be. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's so many.
Yeah.
But yeah, what is this? 1972. Frogs. Just right there. Okay, double feature here with Food of the Gods. Frogs is an interesting kind of scenario. So it's got great cast. Sam Elliott, very young Sam Elliott. Was that his first movie or second movie? I don't know. He looks like a model, man, without the mustache and looking all sorts of young, great looking, right? You got Joan Van Ark, right? Pre-Knots Landing. You got Adam Rourke, Ray Milland, legendary actor.
Who is such a scumbag in this movie.
Oh, he totally is. He's just like this nasty old man, right? But he's such a good actor. And this film starts off, in the beginning, you got Sam Elliott's character. He's out in a boat on a lake or a river. I don't even remember what the hell it is. And he's just minding his own business. And here you see this speedboat ripping around with this guy and this girl. And they're obviously, she's getting loaded, right? And she's the one manning the ship and with the boat. And he's like, watch where you're going. She's like, yeah, whatever. Well, anyway, they wind up hitting Sam Elliott's boat, knocking him into the water, almost killing him, right? So they go and they rescue him. And of course, he decks the guy. He's like, what the hell are you trying to do? They wind up taking him back to their house, which is, I guess, on the sort of a mainland. It's almost like an island, right? And there's where they live. And they're this kooky family where the whole family is there for the birthday of the father, the old guy, the grandfather, whatever. That's Ray Milland's character. And so all of a sudden now, Sam Elliott's staying with them for a little bit because, of course, his boat is all ruined and he's got to find a way to get back to wherever the hell he came from. He starts to notice that this family's really weird. And you get some of the kids, well, they're grown up, but the kids of the old guys of Ray Milan, complaining about how the frogs never stop making their frog noise, croaking all the time. And but meanwhile, Ray Milan's like, whatever, just get over it, all this kind of stuff. And, we're here to celebrate and all this sort of thing. Well, it all of a sudden, starts to turn into this film where now, one by one, all of the members of this family start getting killed off by various different reptiles and animals. And you start to see frogs by the hundreds, by the thousands. The frogs never do anything in the film other than kind of all show up and look kind of mysterious and croak a lot. But the snakes and the spiders and the lizards and the alligators all go after the family and kill them off one by one. And in the end, basically what's happening here is that, well, at least it's perceived this way, that the frogs have it in for Ray Milan and the family, and they're the mastermind of all the creatures on this island. And one by one, they're going to knock everybody off. So then it's like a matter of, how do we get off this island, right? Who's going to be left at the end? And of course, you got, I'm not going to spoil the end of who gets off and whatnot, and then who goes down with the ship, so to speak. But I think this is a lot of fun. But to Chris's point, when I first watched this film, because I had never seen this before.
Wow, that blows my mind, Pete.
The frogs, it's the name.
Yeah, that was on TV all the time too when we were growing up.
Right. And if you look at the box cover, the cover art, they show this frog, which looks bigger than life.
It looks like a giant frog that could eat a person.
Right. But that never happens in the film. So spoiler alert.
No, they just made it up.
You're looking for the frogs to go on a rampage here. That doesn't happen. But the frogs are actually the brains behind the whole operation. And they get all the other animals and lizards and amphibians and reptiles to do their bidding for them, and insects. So it's bees, if I remember correctly, too, right? Yeah, there's bees in this as well. So basically all the creatures in this island are basically kind of told to go and kill the family one by one. So pretty fun movie, I think.
Yeah. When I first saw it as a kid, I was really disappointed because it didn't have the giant frogs.
Right.
But in repeated viewings, it's definitely, I love it. But we should buy the rights, and then let's make the movie with the frogs big enough to eat people.
Yeah.
The other crocodile movie was one from the 70s, Crocodile. 1979.
Nope, that's like I have that actually on 35 millimeter film. That's like from Taiwan or something.
Then there's another one called Killer Crocodile in 1989, which I don't remember that.
Yep, that's Italian.
Okay.
That's Gianetto De Rossi, who did the zombie movies.
And then the other one was the more modern one, like I said, called Crocodile, but that was from 2000.
Yeah, there's another one. I
remember Primeval when it came.
Was it what was it called?
Prime. What was the other one you mentioned?
Primeval.
Primeval's here. Primeval's from 2007.
Something from Australia or something like that.
Rogue?
New Zealand. Which
Rogue.
one? That's it.
Did not see that one. That's another one I didn't see. Rogue it's called from 2007. Yep. So Australian. Yep.
That's the one.
Okay.
All right, Chris, the final picks of the day.
All right, so I was so pissed off at myself that I thought I bought the pack on Blu-ray from the 70s, and this pack from 2013, it was okay. So I got up and I started going through my collection, and I was like, oh, all right, well, at least I have it on DVD. And here's the original poster, and it's the pack from 1977, starring Joe Don Baker, and R.G. Armstrong from Beast Within, and B.B. Besh from the Star Trek movies, and directed by Robert Klaus, who did two of the best bad movies ever. And I got turned on to this movie because my buddy Sean, who would collect the trailers that we would play at Hudson Horror, got the trailer for this movie, and we ran it, and it's like the saddest trailer, because it shows you like a family that like gets a dog for like a vacation because they're vacationing on this little island. And then when they leave, they just leave the dog tied to a tree. They're like, oh, the dog will be fine. Don't worry about it. Like we got to go back to the city. And apparently it happened several times on this island. and all these dogs form the pack, and they get pissed off at people, and they start hunting them down and chewing them up one by
Good for
one.
them. That's the worst thing.
Right?
Leave the dog tied to a tree and leave. What
Yeah,
the-
I mean, it's definitely,
Right.
you could see both. You could see the dogs why they would want revenge,
Yeah.
and at one point it kind of turns into Night of the Living Dead, where the people they don't have much ammo, and they are in a rickety house, and they start boarding up the windows because the dogs keep trying to break through to get into the windows to eat them. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely, it's got that 70s charm. So I'll take the 1977 pack over the 2013 pack anytime. But it's still a crappy movie, but a good, fun, crappy movie. And I definitely enjoyed the pack.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah.
It's a good one.
So you mentioned The Beast Within. Yay or nay?
Yes.
Okay.
Fucking love it.
Haven't seen it in a long time.
I saw it in the
parents
theaters when it first came out. I haven't seen it since. I've almost bought it many times.
My parents took me to see it at the drive-in when I was 11, and I loved it. I will never.
Scene is amazing.
I'll never forget. My mom was in the back seat. Me and my dad were in the front seats, and my mom was literally screaming. And I remember my dad going, "Shut your eyes! Shut your eyes!" And I was a kid. I was in the front seat. I was like, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen." When his head starts to blow up out to here, love it.
Is that considered a werewolf movie? I guess.
I mean, it's like a werewolf movie, right? But he's kind of a cicada, so.
Oh, okay.
But I love it. I have the Blu-ray.
I'm trying to remember who was that. Screen Factory that released that on Blu-ray. I'm trying to remember who did that.
It was, but I think I have the British Arrow.
Okay.
Because there are two of them out there.
I got to get that. I've been putting it off.
It's fun.
I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theaters.
I think it still holds up.
Yeah. Okay.
That was one that I really wanted to play with Hudson Horror, and we just didn't get to it. So knock on wood, things are looking better. It'll have to pick it up because it's a fun, schlocky rubber monster movie.
Yeah, absolutely cool. Very good. All right, Rich, your final pick of the day.
Well, I only watched 2 movies this week, so sorry I don't have a third one, but I'll contribute as I'm doing my research here. Did you guys know there was a movie which I remember it, but I never saw it? Tiger Shark in 1977.
Yeah, it's also known as Tintoria.
Tintoria, yeah. Is that any good?
It's really almost more like a softcore sex film, but
Has nothing to do with the sharks, really.
A couple people get eaten by the shark.
Oh, okay.
It's not terrible.
Okay. That's on a list here of these kind of movies.
Yeah, that's Spanish.
Okay.
Was it Hugo Stiglitz is in that? And was it Rene Cardona that directed it?
Then you got The Reef from 2010.
Yeah, I remember The Reef.
And that's different from the other ones we were talking about. That's another one, which I don't remember seeing that.
I don't remember The Reef.
That's another one to consider. The Meg is here.
Oh, wait, The Reef is a
Lucy?
shark
Yeah,
one, not an alligator movie?
Yeah, it's a shark.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no,
Deep
then I
Blue
remember
Sea
that
was
one.
pretty good. I forgot about that one.
Which one?
Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, that was fun. At least the first one. I didn't see any of the sequels.
Yeah, the first one's the only good one. And then you got 47 Meters Down, which we mentioned, right?
Yeah.
I
There's
don't
so many.
think I saw
A
that.
lot of titles just kind of blend together.
Yeah.
Which one is which?
Yeah.
So many of them.
Yeah. Open Water. And then the other one, like we said, was The Shallows.
Yeah, Open Water is just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of tension. That was definitely a tense movie watching that. Just people floating in the water the whole time, just waiting to see what's going to happen to them.
Especially, too, A, because it was based on a real story, and B, because you could see how easily this really could happen.
The boat can just float away, right? Yeah, you fall in the water and the boat floats away and you can't get back on it.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, since I didn't get to watch a full movie, there goes a couple of my thoughts for contributions for something to check out. Or I could even say Open Water would be my third one because I did see that and that was good.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them, right? 2 or 3. I think there's 2.
Yeah, they made at
I
least.
think there's at least 2. Yeah, I didn't see the second one, but
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, the second one was pretty good too.
All right, my final pick today, we kind of mentioned earlier. So from 1971, Willard,
nice.
which is the obviously the first movie. The second movie is called Ben. So the lead mouse in this film is named Ben. Willard is actually the name of the young guy, the human, right? So basically, this is a pretty twisted tale. Willard lives with his mom. He's kind of a social misfit, but he's got a job. He goes to work, and his boss is Ernest Borgnine, who's great in this film.
Yes.
And but he's just like trying to equate him to like another character you've seen in another movie. You've seen this type of character before. He's got no social skills, so he's almost like Norman Bates from Psycho in a weird way, right? So he lives with his mom in this big huge house. Well, and then he forms this kind of like friendly relationship with a couple of mice. One of them, of course, is Willard. And the mother winds up dying, right? And leaves him with this whole big house and everything like that. So he starts to kind of like, he starts getting in trouble at work, right? And his boss hates him. He's kind of like spineless and all this yada, yada, yada. So little by little, he starts to like teach the mice things. And before you know it, the first there's like 3 mice, then there's like 30, then there's like hundreds of mice living in this house. And they're very, very intelligent. And eventually they start to do his bidding. So he gets pissed off at the boss. He gets fired. He strikes up a friendship with one of the women he works with. And, eventually he gets the mice to do his bidding, but eventually the mice also start to take matters into their own hands, right? So to the point where, one of the mice like kind of goes against Willard and all this kind of stuff. And then the movie ends. And of course, I won't give it away, but it opens it up to a sequel. So Ben and a whole bunch of the other mice wind up going somewhere else in the sequel. I don't think Ben is nearly as good as Willard is. Ben is pretty good too, but Willard is the best out of the 2 of them. And this is way better than the sequel they made with whatever the hell his name is.
The remake with
the remake. I mean, yeah.
What's his name from Back to the Future?
Yeah. What is that guy's name? The weird looking guy.
Yeah, from Friday the 13th Part 5. He's a dead fuck. What is his name?
Don't remember. Anyway. Yeah, everybody knows who he is. Yeah, he's got the weird voice, the weird look to him. But anyway, this is actually a pretty cool, creepy little film. It's not scary. It's not really bloody or anything like that. But, the scenes where all of a sudden the army of mice like kind of descend upon the office to go after Ernest Borgnine is a pretty cool scene. And, when Willard just says basically, go get him, right? It's just like, alrighty then. But cool flick.
And which one had the Michael Jackson song? Was it Willard or Ben? Because I always mix those 2 movies up.
I'm assuming that was in Ben, right? Because that was a
huge hit.
Yeah. But good films, different. Like I said, tame by today's standards, but hey, get the animals going and attacking. That's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's 3 open waters.
3. All right.
Yeah, the 3rd one was called Cage Dive. Didn't see the 3rd one.
Hollywood knows how to.
That's it.
Beat a dead horse, right? It's like, yep. Can't have enough sequels. Anyway, there you have it, everybody. More animals attack films. There's always going to be more, right?
So, could easily do a 4 or 5 for sure.
Yep.
But what would you guys consider these animal attack, or would this be monster movies?
I would think so. Yeah. The Anaconda films.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Anaconda. I forgot about that. Yeah, because these are hybrids. The Sharktopus, Dino Croc, Super Gator. I didn't know if that falls under the same title. Mega Shark, right?
Yep. Yeah. We were chatting earlier today on instant message, but like Prophecy, I think I talked about Prophecy in the last one.
It's a bear, yeah.
That's a giant mutated bear, right? So
that would count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of these. All the different spider films. I mean, we haven't even touched on all those.
That's true. Right. There's a lot of
million of those, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all that started back in the 50s, but there's been a ton of them that have been made since then.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, the creepy crawly films. Oof.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. If there's any other animal attack movies that you guys really dig that we haven't brought up so far, I say so far because I smell a part 4 of this coming up at some point. Put them in the comments below. We've got next week here on the channel on the Monsters Den. We've got that 3rd episode of the spooky series. We've got a couple of actors and one of the guys who played one of the muckmen in the basement, the farting muckmen, are going to be here with us next week. So stay tuned for that. Then on the 17th, I believe it is, we've got myself, Dan Brown, and Jamie Laszlo doing our favorite Alfred Hitchcock thrillers. And then this 3 here will be back the following week after that with some more kind of zany stuff to be determined. So stay tuned for all that and more here on the channel. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So for Chris Allo and Rich Catino, I am Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody.
Nice.